Yeah, someone told me about that. You should run up there. Said I'm only looking for one bee though. Without that one bee, you just have a bunch of bees. What was it? Like Arlington or Skagit area. Yeah. Is that it? Here's mine.
Here, okay.
Okay, so we're going to install this package of bees that just came in a couple of days ago on the truck. Has a queen attached in a cage right in here. Has a can of sugar water that the bees have been feeding on since they've been in the package, and there should be 3 pounds of bees in there.
And George, they asked the question here a little earlier, how many bees to a pound?
Oh, there is, in a 3 pound package, there's approximately 10,000 bees. And the one important one, which is the queen attached to her cage. So we have this hive set up ready for installing packages. This is the feeder jar that's going to go in this top box. And here's the inner cover, and this is actually the hive it will go into. And this was...
You had this in there to keep anything from getting in there?
Yeah.
That was to stop robbing.
So...
if they left that open, bees would have came in there and robbed the resources that was left in that hive.
What we have some frames that don't have a lot of work that's happened. There's looks like this was a feeder that we were feeding sugar water in at some point in a colony.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the granulated white is.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like they were storing some, but there's some action there. So we're going to put the bees in here, and they're going to decide where they want to go, whether they want to go get onto some of this really old comb or some of the relatively new comb.
This is basically starting up a new colony of this.
And this one's even got some old honey in there. Mm-hmm. They've got a little bit of food. So they'll be in good shape. So first what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we're going to put the queen. We're going to leave her in her cage locked up for a couple of days. So we'll this one will put the outside. So that one would be a good one for a brood. This one's probably a good one for a brood, so we'll put the queen right between these two. We'll just take some of these others and just lay them out their way.
So those are open foundation with nothing in them.
Well, they are drawn combs that have been, they're dark, they've been used for brood before. This one's packed with old pollen that the bees will either use or they will throw away. And that one's pretty much a frame that's all set for her to start laying in. So, first of all, we have to see if the queen is still alive in here. So the way I like to do that is first we need to get access to the queen. So if we pull this out, all the bees are sticking to it. So what I like to do is just jam it down. And this hive is empty, so we'll do that trick. And
why would you do it on a hive with gut bees in it?
Because if I do that on a hive with bees, what happens is the bees come screaming out and says, "Who's beating on my hive?" In which case, I would probably want to have a full suit on and a veil.
You have angry bees.
You have angry bees.
So why don't we have suits on now? Why would you use a suit?
Well, they're looking for a home. They could care less about anything around them. They want that queen he's got in his hand.
Yeah, I've always seen people with suits on, so why aren't we having, what's the reason for a suit?
You see people in a lot of things in this world.
Oh, okay.
So if you look in here, here's the queen. Mm-hmm. And if you look at this worker on the outside, it's a little short worker compared to the queen.
Oh, they're quite a bit bigger.
Quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Hey, and to answer your question, why do people wear bee suits?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking you.
For stings.
Okay, so he's not. Is he getting stung yet?
No.
He probably doesn't need it yet, though. He probably has it pretty close by, though, within 100 yards, though.
Yes.
And the bees are like people. They have all different kinds of moods.
George, can you bring that
When they're
queen
in a
up here so I
package,
can
sure.
see her?
Their mood is they want to get into a home, they want their queen, they want to start to go to work. Last thing the thing, and most bees in a beehive, in a colony or whatever, if they sting, what's going to happen to them?
Die.
Absolutely. Who wants to die? They're not. They don't want. They don't want to cause or become cowards or whatever you call it. They don't want to kill themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So if this queen has been in this package for a week and the can is empty, these bees would be pretty attuned to this queen. So what I could do is I could just dump the bees in here, close it up, let the queen walk in the front, and she'd be fine.
They've been in there, I think, since Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. So
Not long enough yet.
probably not long enough. So what I'm going to do is, set it so that they can release her. So this right now she can't get out because of the cork.
Okay.
And so I'm going to replace that cork with a marshmallow.
Oh.
Candy.
Yeah.
Marshmallow candy. And so what will happen is the bees will slowly eat that and they'll release her over the next few days.
Okay. So to get more used to it.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, you're going to... Oh. Sheet metal's really
Never go without it.
So first of all,
a little big.
before we do this, when we actually do it, it'll be really quick.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the colony so that she can be reached and fed through the screen.
Okay.
So we'll
Come on.
That might be too fat, George.
we'll see. We'll see if that will. 'Cause getting the
She
cork
rock
out-
schmoozer.
no. It's gonna push
I
it
have
out.
a knife.
A knife.
Is that going to be okay?
She's getting the cork out without pushing it in.
Yeah, that's not good. Here.
A key.
Oh, that's good now.
You get it?
Yeah.
I got a knife with like a pin blade on it.
Okay, and then when I get to close, I want to make sure that the queen is not walking toward that entrance when I pull that cork out. So she's not there, so I pulled the cork out.
Okay.
She's out of the way. There's her knife. So we'll just
So the queen sting also? Or?
she can, but they generally don't.
George is probably the only person that's been ever stung by a queen, right?
There's a few more. You got to really work at it.
Now, is her sting more potent? Or?
No, the difference in the stingers is she has like two long sabers, and so if she pokes it in, it goes in a long ways and it comes right back out.
Oh.
So it's really just
The other ones
like a
have
pinprick.
barb on it.
The workers have barbs on them, so they go in and the barbs hook, and then the pumping of the muscle starts driving it in deeper. So hers is really sharp, but it doesn't last very long. Whereas theirs, if you don't scrape it away, it starts to build up. So we've got the bees will be able to release her. So now there's various orientations and there's different opinions. But if I put her in right here, what happens is I'm going to put a feeder jar in there, and I'm going to fill her jar with feed, and she's going to drown. So you want it so that if rain gets in or feed gets in, it will drain. So you don't want the screen up. And if I put it in sideways like this, that board would block her access, so the bees wouldn't know that she's in there.
And they couldn't feed her.
They couldn't feed her.
And they got to feed her all the time, around the clock.
So your real options are either like this or like this. I prefer about right in here. And I just bend that over, and so she's all set.
Now, George, why wouldn't would you hang that straight down?
Some people do.
I'm going to answer that for you.
I got a question. The reason why.
but
Yeah.
some-
Well, why does?
Sometimes they come with attendants, and if there's an attendant in there and the attendant dies and plugs the hole, she can't get out.
That's right.
So just, if you always put it horizontally like that, the bees have access from underneath. They can feed her. When they chew away the marshmallow, she can crawl out. All is good. So we have the queen. We just now need bees. Now, depending on weather, you can do this multiple ways. One I've seen where you just would center her over here. You would empty this side out. You dump a few bees on her and you just put the package in and you close it up. And the bees that are around her will keep her warm until those bees realize that she's no longer in the package, and they crawl out looking for her. Then they walk over, and in a day's time, all of them are out of the package and they're over here. Mm-hmm. And then you go in and you remove the package and put in frames, and all is well. And that works well if it's raining or if it's really cold out. But for the beekeeper, it's not a lot of fun.
Because you gotta get back in.
Because I like the excitement. I like them out of the package. So we'll drop them down again like that.
We're gonna take it up like he knows where he's going.
Where are you guys going?
Yeah, where are you going?
Like
I'm 50-50 on this. My last one, I had 2 packs. One, they had just all sat there nice and calm, and then the next one, they all came right out and just went all around like.
Yeah.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah, I'd never seen them that agitated.
So you'll see that we do it differently. So I'll do another demonstration program.
And they just.
So I'm just kind of pouring them out.
These guys are pretty upset. These ladies are.
Yeah.
And there's some other techniques. Some people will spray this with sugar water. If they've been in there a long time and haven't eaten, that's another way to get a little bit more food in them before you release them. I don't like doing it because it makes a mess of everything. It's sugar water all over everything.
Yeah. They can't fly and they're all gooey and sticky, and oh my god, it's a big old wad of bees.
And the bees are really good at hanging on to each other. So you can do this fast or slow.
Look at them go right for the queen.
Yeah, so they're gonna hang around that queen area.
There you go. Looks like the truck on I-5 yesterday.
Yep, saw that.
Yeah, I'm the news reporter. Ouch. Ooh, ow.
Hey, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, the sun's out, they're pissed off.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a few bees still left in there. And I'll just set that here.
Well, they've calmed down pretty much if anything stuck in.
Well, yeah, they're looking for food, looking for a queen, looking for a reason to live.
And they're fanning quite a bit. They know they've been disturbed. They're looking for the queen. Until enough fanners set up to attract all of these flying bees.
To spread that pheromone around. Queen says.
Talking about that poop.
Oh, I forgot to mention about black.
Yeah, black's right. Then everyone works bees with a black shirt or a black dog.
Yeah, they poop on it.
Oh, yeah, well, the poop won't hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Make a little stain.
And I'm just slowly pushing the bees out of the way as I put that in where it needs to go.
In doing so, probably a few of them get squished a little bit.
Well, hopefully not.
Hopefully not if I go slow enough.
He's going nice, so they move out of the way.
If they do, then they'll get agitated again.
If you're squishing bees, you're going too
That
fast.
frame doesn't look good there.
Yeah, now one problem is this older frame here is broken.
Can it be nailed with one hand and I'll move? I don't know, you got bees in there. Can I knock it together?
I think I'm just going to ignore that and let Gene fix that in a few days.
Oh, by the
Actually,
way.
you know what? Hang on, George.
See, it just fell apart, didn't it? Okay.
First bee experience.
You never thought you'd be doing this.
I never thought I'd be near hundreds of bees.
Our frame just came loose at the top.
Actually, you don't really,
Where's my screw at? I'm just joking.
no big deal, I guess. You just kind of stay still.
Okay, fixed.
They don't like, no sharp motions, no hard wrapping on the hive. That's not good.
This is what not to do.
Never wear
Such a
black. Never wear wool.
Notice the bees don't always pay attention to all the rules all the time.
These are happy bees. They're calm. They want to go to work. It's a nice day.
So was there still liquid in that can? A little
Yes.
bit?
Yes, the can's about 2/3 of the way full.
So there's enough slack in all those frames that the bee little box has got room in between?
Actually, that's a really good question, and the answer is no.
You mean the cage? The queen cage?
It's in there. The bees are on top of it.
Oh,
Can't
okay,
quite
yeah,
see
that's
it.
right, yeah, it's
Right.
still there.
It is doubtful that I could squeeze this in there,
Oh, I see.
depending on the boxes. So I'm going to leave this one out.
And of course, you can see the queen cage because George has a little wire that's hanging on it.
Right.
Because if it falls down or something, they might turn away with a screen somewhere where they can't take care of that queen. And that would not be good at all. You'd find a dead queen in 3 days.
Very slowly so I don't squish any bees. I have time to move out of the way.
Now, could you also put the queen box in, like you did, and just leave the frames, their normal togetherness, and then dump all the bees on, or would it be more of a mess that way?
Yeah, what you can do is you can shove it down in this area. And, put it down below the wooden bar.
Okay.
But the wire doesn't reach the top then. But sometimes if you've got old frame, you can jam it in there. But you have to make that room available to the screen.
Now George is doing something that he really shouldn't be doing. Where's your smoker at?
It's in the car.
Okay, all right. So
Who needs a smoker?
No, it's not. You get all new people. You should have a smoker right now.
Yes, we should have a smoker here.
You should be smoking those bees right now, and they would go down, and he's gonna right now and he's got to play around and settle on top of the bees. But you need a smoker. Don't do this without a smoker. And I always take that package, smoke the package. Smoke that package before you even start messing with it. That distraction. I don't always do it, but I recommend it. The newbies.
Okay, so the way we're going to put feed on this one, and in our area you have to feed. And part of that is that there's food available, but if these guys have to defend their hive against all the other hives,
Good morning.
and this is just 1-to-1 sugar water.
So does that stop dripping after a moment?
Yeah, it stopped.
It's a vapor law. Laws of physics.
So just like they take a sip and just it's like
It dribbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The hummingbirds take a.
It's like when you were a kid, you just take a
No,
cup
the
at the
stories.
restaurant, you put a coaster over it and flip it over, and put it on a table or something, so they couldn't get it off.
So about
Vapor law.
how long will that jar last like that?
They'll probably drink this down in a couple of days.
So then you need to come back in and fill it
Right.
again?
Yeah, in probably 2 or 3 days we'll come in and we'll pull that box out, because if you don't come back and pull the box out and those frames are in that gap, the bees will make an extra comb for you in that center area. So in a couple of days time we'll pull that box out, we'll put the frames together, and we'll put this one in. And we'll put all the frames close together. And so we don't want the bees drawing extra wax in the other areas.
So then you'll put some more sugar.
He'll put that frame back in that he has
Then
here.
we'll fill the bottle.
Refeed is,
And this, since there's bees here in the top, I want them to get out. So I just put this block up here to just add a little more air at the top, so they have enough room to climb out. It's that easy.
And then will you take that little stopper thing off there after a few days also for this lid, so it sits down
that little
completely
pipe.
flat?
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's not important, it doesn't matter.
And there's a lot of people, these don't work very good for feeders over the top of the hive, because the bees just can't get the liquid out of there very well. And so it's best if you're going to use this, pour it into a jar feeder and feed them that way. Feed the rest of this.